All right, let's dive into something that feels like it could have been written yesterday, but is actually thousands of years old. We're going to unpack a timeless riddle from an ancient text, Psalm 49, all about money, power, and what's really, really valuable.
So this is it. This is the question that kicks the whole thing off. The writer is basically asking, hey, when I look around and see all these super rich, powerful people who seem to have everything figured out, why should that make me feel small? Why should I be afraid? I mean, come on, who hasn't felt that at some point?
And right from the get-go, the text makes one thing super clear. This isn't some exclusive message. It's for everybody. It says, listen up, everyone on earth. Doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, or somewhere in the middle. This is for you.
Okay, so to get to the bottom of this riddle, to figure out why we shouldn't fear the wealthy, the psalmist asks us to take a good, hard look at money itself. What can it do, and more importantly, what can't it do? What are its real limits?
So the psalm paints this really clear picture, right? The rich people in this story, their entire sense of security is tied up in their bank accounts. Their status comes from showing it all off. They even try to achieve this weird kind of immortality by slapping their names on buildings and land, as if that'll make them last forever. But is any of that real security?
This slide just lays it all out, plain and simple. On the left, you've got everything money can get you in this world. More stuff, people saying you're great, a fancy lifestyle. But look at the right side. That's the stuff money is completely powerless against. It can't buy you out of death. No amount of praise can make you live forever. And all that splendor, it eventually falls apart.
And this quote, wow, this is really the heart of the argument. It's saying that a human life has an infinite price tag. There's just no amount of money, no payment plan, no lump sum that's enough to buy back a life once its time is up. That right there is the absolute limit of financial power.
Which leads us to the Psalm's knockout punch, really. The one single force that makes all the money, all the status, all the power in the world completely and totally irrelevant. You gotta love how brutally honest this is. The text just says, look around. It doesn't matter if you were wise with your money or a complete fool with it. Smart people die, senseless people die, everybody dies. Death is the one appointment nobody gets to cancel.
And all that wealth they trusted in? The very foundation of their security? Well, someone else gets it. It's the one thing they're guaranteed to leave behind. Simple as that.
Think about it, right? You can't take it with you. All the prestige, the fancy houses, the public acclaim, none of that is going with them. Their splendor, their glory, it stays right here.
So with all that on the table, the psalmist basically lays out a choice. It shows us two totally different ways to live, two different things to put our trust in. And as you'll see, they lead to two very, very different places.
All right, let's check out path number 1. This is the path of the people we've been talking about, the ones who trust in themselves, in their own smarts, and in the safety net of their money. Their whole foundation is built on what they can see, touch, and count.
And the imagery here is just, wow, it's intense. The psalm says these people are like sheep. They're just kind of mindlessly following the flock, headed for a cliff they don't see. And their shepherd, it's death itself. It's a pretty grim picture of a life lived without any deeper meaning.
But thankfully, that's not the only option. The second path isn't about what you own. It's about what you hope for. It's about placing your trust in something bigger than yourself, something beyond this material world.
And here's the total 180. This is the psalmist's personal declaration. He says while everyone else is being led by death, he has this hope that God will rescue him from death. It's a complete reversal. Two paths, two totally opposite destinies.
Okay, so we've looked at the limits of money and we've seen these two contrasting life paths. Let's bring it all home and finally answer that big question from the beginning. Why shouldn't we fear the rich?
And it boils down to this one piece of advice, a direct command, really. It says, don't be impressed. Don't let it get to you when you see someone getting richer and richer. Because once you understand how temporary it all is, the awe, well, it just kind of vanishes. You see it for what it truly is. The psalm says the key, the secret ingredient, is this one little word, understanding. And we're not talking about being a genius or having a high IQ. It's a special kind of wisdom, the ability to see the big picture, to know what lasts and what fades. And that, the text argues, is what separates a meaningful human life from just existing.
And here it is, the final mic drop, the ultimate answer to the riddle. A person can have all the money on earth, but if they lack this basic understanding of life and death, they're no different than an animal that just lives for a while and then is gone.
Their wealth is ultimately meaningless, and that's why you shouldn't fear them. Their foundation, it's just sand.
So we end up right back where we started. But now the question is for us. The psalm completely tears down the idea that your net worth equals your self-worth. And that leaves this huge question just hanging in the air for all of us to think about. If money isn't the true measure of a life, what is?